This is section 2.2, number 23. It gives us this function and it wants us to say what the m and the b are in the equation of the tangent line at the point 0.06. At the point 0.06. The reason I just said is because it looks like they're telling us what the b is right away. I don't know if everybody's version of the problem is like this, but I just noticed that like the 0.6, that's a y-intercept, right? Because the y-intercept is the point where the graph crosses the y-axis, and at that point the x value is 0. So it looks like they're telling us what b is. It looks like they're telling us that b is 6. But I don't know if everybody's version of the problem is like this, where like they give you 0.6. Like, so if your x coordinate is 0, then the b is going to be whatever the y coordinate is, because that's the y-intercept. I don't know, again, if everybody's version of the problem is like that. So we'll just pretend that we don't know that, or just that we didn't notice that, and problem as though that weren't the value. Yeah, I'm suspecting that everybody's version is like this because it has the function e to the x there, which would give us a really like ugly number if x were anything other than 0, because e to the 0 is just 1. So I'm suspecting that everybody's does have a 0 there, but let's pretend that that's not the case, and or just pretend that we didn't even notice that there's a 0 there. And we'll go ahead and find everything. So first thing with finding the equation of the tangent line is you have to find out what the slope is, and the slope of the tangent line is always the derivative. So we're going to find the derivative. So a couple of rules I'll just remind everybody of is, one, that the derivative of a constant times x is just the constant. 2, the derivative of just a constant is just going to be 0. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. So the derivative of just a constant is just 0. Oh, no. I guess yeah, okay. So one other rule, actually, so 3 rules, is just that the derivative of e to the x is just e to the x. So those 3 rules are the 3 derivative rules we'll use for this problem. So when I find the derivative of the function that I'm given, I see the 8x, that's a constant, times x, and derivative of a constant times x is just the constant. So that's just 8. When I take the derivative of 15, I just get 0, because if you have just a constant, the derivative of the constant is just 0. And then the derivative of 9 e to the x, or minus 9 e to the x, will just be minus 9 e to the x, because e to the x is its own derivative. So I end up with f prime is 8 minus 9 e to the x. And for my slope, m, I want f prime of 0. The way I got 0 from this value that they gave us for x. That's where I got the 0. And so I'm going to plug in 0 for x, and I end up with 8 minus 9e raised to the power of 0, which is just 1. E raised to the power of 0 is just 1. So this is 8 minus 9 times 1. Or in other words, 8 minus 9, which is just negative 1. So this right here is my slope. This is my m. My m is negative 1. So that's one thing that they ask us to find, is the m, which is they want you to like recognize that m is the slope of, is the derivative. The slope of the tangent line is the derivative. Second thing they ask you to find is the b, which they gave us right away, but let's suppose we didn't know that. then what we would do is use, like, go back to our y equals mx plus b, and then use this 0.06 and plug in the 6 for y. And then your m, or the m that I got, was -1, so we'll plug in -1 for the m, and then and then plug in the 0 for x. So -1 times 0 plus b. And then you see that b is just going to be 0 because -1 times 0 is 0. So sorry, b is not going to be 0. B is just going to be 6 because -1 times 0 is just 0. And so we end up with just 0 plus b on the right side, which gives us b equals 6. So that's how we would get that if we didn't recognize right away that the b was 6. So hope that helps. Take care. Bye.